What is up, Astro peeps? It is Chad. Welcome back to the Easy Astro Images channel. All over the YouTube interwebs the past couple weeks has been talking about the Orton effect. Now, this has been being used from people. I first saw it on Sky Story, and I think before that, entering into space. Now, it's very cool. The whole Orton effect thing, what it does is it kind of creates like this dreamy, painted-like type of glow on your image. For example, the left of M45 here versus the right. You probably aren't going to be able to see a whole lot of difference, which is the first thing about the Orton effect. It is not going to be for every image, but it is definitely something that you will want to at least try or kind of play with. It's kind of like adding like a stretch without adding a stretch, trying to like break it down into like different terms than maybe what you've kind of heard, but it doesn't really add any bad or good stuff to your photo per se. So depending upon the object, like I really wanted you to look is, I think the Orton effect is the best when you also combine it with other imaging techniques. So we got, this image here, and you can see that this is kind of like a pre-Orton, and then if we Orton it, you just get like this nice subtle glow. And I actually have this cranked up pretty hard in Polyman Astro's utility here. It's definitely great that you don't have to do this in Photoshop. That is a definite bonus, but it's really easy to use. You just load your image, and then you basically click on the little button here to create a duplicate, and you can see what it does is it's going to make this like blurry duplicate image here. And then what we're going to do after that is I find pretty much that screen mode works pretty much the best for all of them. And you can just kind of go through and refresh your preview. You can see how it gave everything a little bit of a glow there. And if we turn the opacity down to make it a little less pronounced, then we're going to get a little bit less of a glow. If we crank it all the way up, then we're going to get like this super crazy glow, which, some of you might actually enjoy. Then you apply it, bada bing, bada boom, and you get your Ortonized image. So I tried this on a couple different images. We've got some Horsehead Nebula type of stuff here. On the left, we've got no Orton. On the right, we have Orton. And again, it just kind of gives everything an overall type of a glow. Now, where I think this really works good is there's this one missing step. And what that step is being able to come in and actually find detail out the Orton effect. And you really have to do this in like Photoshop or Affinity Photo. I highly encourage everybody to go and look at Entering into Space's video that he did about the Eagle Nebula. It was 2 or 3 videos ago, and he does the Orton effect, and then he specifically goes in to certain areas where there is structure there, and that allows him to basically unpaint the Orton effect, and it creates a very awesome scene. So what you would do is you would kind of like unpaint in these areas, and he really does a lot of cool things with depth and everything in the photos. So kind of like the star trick that I showed in the last video, when you kind of combine all of these little tricks, all of a sudden you kind of start getting more out of your astrophotography. You start getting more of a 3D, just depth of field layered type of image. We do so many things with our stars and denoising the images and everything like that. And everything just kind of comes out flat. And that's one thing about the Orton effect, is that it will allow you to recover some of that and give you less of a flat type of image. So it'll make certain areas pop, so on and so forth. For example, if we go back to our image here that we have the Orton effect applied to, and this is kind of like way at the end of my processing here, so I wouldn't even do this right now, but what it would do is kind of allow you to go back into the image at this point, and then what you could do is like you can kind of start adding some saturation back in to those areas that are glowing. So if you look at the middle here and just kind of look at how washed out all of this is, and we start adding in some of this saturation. Now we're starting to see all of these areas peek through, and we're getting some separation coming into everything now. So it actually is allowing us to do another extra step of processing. And then once again, you could go back into something like Photoshop and Affinity Photo. And like right here along these edges, man, you could just kind of unpaint that glow a little bit. And like, we're talking like a very, very low level of opacity. But what it's going to do is just create depth and enhance that structure. So this is really easy stuff to do. I wouldn't say it's like a super advanced technique or anything, especially since Paulie is doing the actual work for us now with the script, and you don't have to leave PixInsight. So I guess what we need to do now is kind of figure out a way within PixInsight to kind of go back in and recover some of those details, maybe through masking or something else. You could always just throw a range mask back on this now, and then you could work on all of the layers, the RGBK, or you could go in and start playing with colors to kind of get some variations along your different structures and boundaries. But again, I'm going to try it and definitely use it. I always try to like show people different things than what I've seen before. And I think that this is the most important thing that I've seen, is that like after you apply it, don't think it's just like one of those things that like now you're done with your image. You actually can go back in now and do all of this other stuff that you want to do. If we want to just have some fun real quick, we could just pop up good old Blur Exterminator. And as we have learned, we're going to affect our stars no matter what. And if we want to try to sharpen this stuff up again, we'll go ahead and drop this on here. And we know it's going to make our stars a little bit smaller than what they were before, but it's going to actually bring out even more of that crispness that was hidden behind the initial video, but was pulled out now with the Orton. And now look at that right there. Before, after, before, and after. So even more detail recovery, even more color, even more depth. Thumbs up to all this. Just think about it in a different way and enjoy and have some fun with your astrophotography. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. We will talk to you all later. Peace.